Hello everyone, welcome to IELTS Resource Center online course. I'm Mr. George. Today we'll be taking you on tips and strategies in IELTS Writing Task 2. One of the biggest complaints from IELTS examiners is that most students' inability to answer the question. Instead, lots of students write very generally about the topic and do not actually answer the question. Now, for example, we take a look at a question on the global warming. Now, many students will see this kind of question and write as much as about global warming as they can think of. This is a mistake because the IELTS writing text is not a test of your knowledge. Rather, it's a test of your ability to answer the question with a high level of written English. So a good student would read the question carefully and realize that the question is not asking you to talk about global warming. In fact, it is asking you to comment on sea level rises with reference to humans. So the answer to the question will only talk about the problems humans face from sea level rises and nothing else. So you see, I often tell my students that you should answer the question rather than the topic. Talking about the topic is a shotgun approach. You might hit a few things, but you are unlikely to hit the target in a way that will get you your desired mark. Tip number 2, analyze the question. If you don't answer the question fully, you can't get over a band 5. It is that simple, and it's probably the number one thing stopping people getting a high score in IELTS. It takes a long time to improve your grammar and vocabulary, but you can improve these very quickly. Answering the question fully means reading the question carefully and then doing what it asks you to do. Spend time reading the question carefully and think about exactly what the question is asking you to do. A good way to think about this is to use keywords, micro keywords, which have to do with the specific subtopic, and instruction words when thinking about your answer. Tip number 2 is planning. Planning is essential if you want to do well in IELTS Writing Task 2. The students who get the highest marks always spend time making a plan before they start writing. I normally tell my students to spend at least 5 minutes planning and another couple of minutes analyzing the question. When you do this, you are in a better position to write to the point. Lots of students don't plan, and this leads them to getting lost in the middle of their tests, either having to start all over again and losing lots of time, or result of a very confused essay that is difficult to follow. So a plan can be very simple and just used to guide you. But some students think when they plan, it's like a waste of time. I tell you here, when you plan, it saves you time because it will serve as a guide to know what to write and what not to write. When you have a plan in mind, you have already structured how your essay is going to be. Through your plan, you have already pictured what you're about to write and what you ought not to write. So planning is essential because it paved the way to a very effective essay and a meaningful essay as well. Use appropriate structure in your writing tasks. IELTS writing task 2 questions generally follow a standard format. They will either ask you your opinion about something, or to discuss both views and give your opinion, or to discuss advantages and disadvantages of something, or maybe cause problems and solution kind of essay. Now, the great thing about this is that they are standard structures you can learn for each of these essays. Here, I'm not talking about you memorizing essay. You should never do this. But you should familiarize yourself with standard structure. Now, for example, to show off means try to tell everyone how good you are at something. IELTS candidates try to show off by using very complicated vocabulary and advanced grammar. I believe this will show the examiner how good they are and that they deserve a high score. The only problem with this is that many people use vocabulary and grammar they are unsure of, and this leads to lots of mistakes. If you try to use advanced vocabulary and grammar structures, use them and then use them incorrectly, you will actually get a lower score. It is much better to use simpler, you are 100% sure is correct. I always tell my students to follow the 100% rule. If you are not 100% sure, don't use it. This is one of the biggest revelations my students have after their first class with me, and it leads to a clearer writing and ultimately higher bound score. Most of the task 2 questions ask you to give your opinion. You should make this very clear in the introduction, the conclusion, and the main body paragraph. Make sure you state your opinion in the introduction, if asked to do so, by saying, I believe that, it is agreed that, I disagree that, depending on how the question is being asked. Like for example, in a situation whereby you are asked, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, if you agree, it's either you say, I completely agree, or I completely disagree, or I partially agree. Now, in a situation whereby you completely agree, means you are in complete agreement with the view you choose. In that way, you are going to develop your opinion all through the paragraph. Your opinion is going to reflect all through the paragraph. When you completely agree, there is no way of you also trying to go the other way around by writing opposing view within your paragraph. Same also with when you say you completely disagree. Then when you partially disagree, it's not like you are in between. Then you are going to write within the two paragraphs in your body paragraph. So these are things you need to know. So when you are asked what is your opinion, let it be felt all through the paragraph. Hello everyone, we have come to the end of this lesson. Click on the subscription button, also the notification bell, like our video as well. Thank you and remain blessed.